You know, a lot of us say we're adventurous, but
Cheap RV living.
to my mind, is
My personal hero,
there's an element of risk
about a year ago anyway.
So, you
He's
are
interviewing this guy, Brian Galen, who lives in a tent year round. I guess he's got a dog too. Anyway,
Especially at a time when there's a lot of stress, it's just so nice to be
turn it down. I can't listen to this shit.
I warn people all the
God
time.
damn it. I'm not currently on my couch. I'm sorry. I'm kind of laid down. Does that count? But I'm not currently on my couch. But my problem with this whole thing now, with the cheap RV living and all the rest of it is, looks like a lonely life, man. It can be interesting at times, and you can meet people in a sense, but it's just like everything else within the world of social media and Facebook and all the rest of it. There doesn't seem to be any lasting connections with people within that community. It's kind of visceral and immediate, and then you move on. That's kind of how it is. I never really ran into too many people that wanted to chat when I was doing van life, but I was an urban van lifer, and people leave each other alone pretty much for the most part. So I didn't become a part of the community or anything, not within Sacramento. There really isn't a van life community in Sacramento whatsoever. And a matter of fact, I don't feel like there's much of a van life community at all unless you're hibernating in the desert and you're around a bunch of people, maybe in some spots where you get a lot of people that know each other, that van life maybe on a regular in a range of meet. But other than that, you're by yourself most of the time. And here's this guy, he's got his dog, and he's got his tent, and I'm like, the people that van life that do it for that can make a living and live in it, they're mostly on Social Security or some kind of disability, or they have limited income. So those are the true van lifers. The ones that do it as a fad, they make a YouTube channel and basically make a buck doing YouTube and whatnot. They're glamping it in these Sprinter vans. They've got like 100K in these things at minimum, at times. Yeah, my Sprinter van alone is what, 30 to 40K at least, and then all the buildup that you put in this vehicle, it's going to add, the way they add into it is another 50K probably. I'm thinking you're looking at 100K. I'm 57. I'm not spending 100K on a van. I mean, that's a vehicle. It's going to lose its value the first day you drive it off the lot. So I never understood that. But it's for these glamping types, these yuppie type, trendy type people that know they can make a channel or think they can make a channel. That's going to be big one day, Or in the case of Bob Wells, who did it completely out of a true wanderlust or a true desire not to be beholden to anybody or be stuck up in a relationship because he can't handle people or whatever on a really interpersonal level. I think there's a lot of people like Bob Wells out there who just don't want that. And I understand that. I do. But at the same time, I think I want something more personal than just these visceral relationships. I like the visceral relationships from time to time. That's kind of exciting. That's the spice of life at times, to meet new people. But at the same time, late at night, when you're in a van somewhere, desolate, like a desert, or even within a city, and you're by yourself, you're alone, and you realize you're alone. And the same thing if you're in a house. I think personally, even more so in a house. So between sticks and bricks and van life, I guess I would take van life at this point in time in my life. It's more affordable in a sense, but it's not the cheapest thing in the world either. You still got to live. You still got to have systems to maintain yourself. You've got a vehicle that could break down at any moment. You may be stuck having to get an Airbnb for days or even weeks at a time to get your vehicle fixed. And it's not this kind of life they show on YouTube on a constant, with van lifers. Now, if you got income coming in on a regular, it could be to a certain extent, but it's not going to be anything but a kind of a lonely life most of the time. You know, unless you're doing it as a couple, maybe, and you're both on the same page. But, you know, stuff like close quarters like that can drive a couple apart. You know, I did it briefly with a girlfriend. That lasted about a week. She got tired of it after a week. So, what people dream of doing is the reality is totally different. Trust me on that. I don't like these channels of Facebook group sites that always show the young and vibrant people in G-strings and thongs laying with their back doors open in a luxurious Sprinter van, all decked out and custom made, looking out on the ocean vista. That's not truly a reality of van life, you know? And look at this. Who would want to live like this? I'm saying that if you got like some sort of income, some sort of retirement, and this is how you want to live the rest of your days, there's something wrong with you. Even with like van life, it's not a reality as you get older. What are you going to do as you get older? Where are you going to live after you hit a certain age where you can no longer drive? So I don't think a lot of people that do van life really think about it from like what's going to happen when I hit this age. I know what my answer is, and it's why I'm not a full-time van lifer anymore. It's going to be something I'll use in between the time I spend here in the States and the time I caretake for somebody's house and the time that I'm going to be in Asia when I finally do retire or I save enough money to spend a year or two at a time in either the Philippines or Vietnam, Thailand, Cambodia, or something to that effect. I'm a guy, so that's a guy's kind of place to be. But women can do that too. You can live in Asia just as cheaply as a guy can. It's no difference, really, you know? Maybe it's a little bit riskier for a woman, I don't know. But the thing is, you could live overseas in one of these Asian countries I mentioned. And the Philippines is a great example of that. You can live there probably for $1,000 or less per month, pretty easily. And they have a decent lifestyle too. And not have to worry about a vehicle breaking down or any of the rest of it. You know what I mean? I mean, there's always going to be some hindrance to your life. But the thing is about the Philippines especially, as a guy, from a guy's viewpoint, you can meet somebody that's going to be your life partner and they're going to be a lot more of a wife or... you know, if you're a guy, you're going to find somebody as a spouse going to be a lot more the way it used to be, more traditional. That's going to take care of business, you know. And shouldn't that be the way it should be, you know, with the living with a partner? If you're a guy and you're putting a roof over somebody's head and you're carrying the lion's share of finances, I don't see anything wrong with that, you know, having a traditional relationship. You can't really find that in the U.S. anymore. So would I do van life for the rest of my life? No, I'll do van life as a recreational thing or a necessity thing at times to save money. That's the only way I would do it. To travel and be the luxurious life that you see. You know, have me maybe at some point in the future a Sprinter van. Am I willing to spend $100K on it? No. Not unless I came into $500,000, but $500,000 you can live in luxury in overseas for the rest of your life, really. Especially if you're in your 50s, you'd be set up good. Even $100K would get you 10 years in the Philippines, whereas 100K put into a vehicle that you're then after 10 years going to have to maintain, or within that time period always maintain all the rest of it. Doesn't guarantee you a happy life. If you're okay being alone and traveling all the time, that's fine. But this is the thing about traveling all the time. It wears you the hell out. I went on a trip the other day, and it makes you tired. You know, you get tired of traveling. I don't care where you go. You get tired of it after a while. You want a home base. You want a people to go back to. You know what I mean? And if you don't have that, then van life is just a lonely life. You know? And all this stuff with social media, whether it be YouTube, Snapchat, Facebook, all the rest of it, it's not concrete relations with people that really care or know you and interact with you on a daily or, you know, anything else. It's vicarious at best. So that's what I find van life to be. You know, kind of how I've lived my life after my breakup of my marriage. But, you know, to be perfectly honest, even though I had to work all the time because I was the breadwinner, you know, I kind of missed that. Because I remember it was more of a real, true, purpose-driven life than this vicarious life I live now, living part-time in a van or wherever else I might be. So I like to have some roots somewhere, you know, maybe not necessarily in sticks and bricks, you know, but at least with a person, a family, or somebody that has a deeper meaning than just the people you meet in the world of social media or van life. That's all I got to say on this, guys. Y'all take care. That's my couch potato 2 cents.